Hey there, Bixby developers. Today you are here for a code lab for Bixby Home Studio. In today's code lab, we'll be setting up the development environment first by creating a Samsung account, a SmartThings account, then adding your smart bulb to your SmartThings account, and finally editing the graph in Bixby Home Studio for that smart bulb. The first thing we need to do is actually create a Samsung account at account.samsung.com. Once you're there, you can just simply click the Create Account button and then go through the typical stuff that you'll need to do in order to create your Samsung account. After that, you will need the SmartThings app, and then you'll want to log into that specific Samsung account that you just created. Here we have this very helpful little video here that will show you how to actually set up your SmartThings account. Now, of course, you'll need the app, which is available on Android and iOS, so this isn't just limited to Samsung devices. Once your SmartThings account is set up, follow the instructions on your smart bulb to add it to your SmartThings account. So I'm also going to show you guys really quick how to create a virtual switch for those of you who do not have an RGB light bulb to follow along with. This way you can create a virtual switch and you can do at least part of this code lab. Just in your SmartThings app, click on Menu, then click on Labs, and then scroll down and you will see an option for Virtual Switch. Give that a tap and then just add a virtual switch, name this switch, and then click Save. Select your location and select your room, and then finally click Save, and now you have added a virtual switch. Next, we go to bhs.bixbydevelopers.com, and you may have a slightly different screen here, but basically we just click Create a New Project. Now you want to select your smart bulb or your virtual switch. My smart bulb is named the Marginally Intelligent Light, so I'll be selecting that one. And now we're going to click Create Metadata from Scratch and click Next. Under here, we will select the power switch right here, this power switch, and we're going to select the power switch turn off and power switch turn on voice intents right here. And just these two are what we're going to be working on for this code lab, and then we click Next, and finally we can enter a project name if we like, and just click Done. So now we have these two voice intents, which, obviously this one would turn off the light, and this one would turn on the light. Let's go ahead and start with turning on the light. And really one of the easiest ways to get started with your first graph is first you click on the graph, then you go to this little thing right here, which shows some sample graphs. And we're going to want to scroll all the way down, and right here we have Turn on Device. Just click and drag this over here, and this will create a default graph for turning on the device. So at this step now, all we have to do is click Try It, and voila, the light over there actually turns on. Now, if you're using a simulated RGB bulb, it will, pretend turn on that simulated RGB bulb. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to next do the power switch turn off graph right here. And what we can actually do is we can copy and paste this by clicking and dragging and selecting these four nodes, hitting Command or Control C, and going over to the power switch turn off graph and hitting Command or Control V. Now, however, obviously this is still turning the device on, but in order to turn the device off, we can click on this center node, select off, and select this off, click Save. And let's also change this comment here by right-clicking this. Since it says turn on device, we wanted to tell us that it's actually turning off the device. This way it's a little less confusing. And we just click Try It to try it. And voila, there we go. We have turned off our device. So the next step is to actually turn off the device, but provide a different response based on whether or not the device is already off. So we have a couple JSONs for you to actually work with this first one that I'm going to be copying right here. And then we're going to paste it into this graph. You can click on Raw, and then just delete whatever it had here, paste in that JSON that you'll be copying from wherever, and then click Add. We've added these nodes here, but we need to rewire this thing in order for it to actually, do what we want it to, which is to provide us a different response in the situation that it's on. So we have these 4 nodes here where it checks the value of the actual switch, whether it's on or off, and then it does an equals to comparison to see if that switch is actually on or off. We have a constant here that we're passing into this equals operator, and this one is going to be on. So if it's on, then we want to turn off the device, and if it's off, then we will want to say it's already set. So in order to do this, we just need to delete this line right here by clicking on it and pressing the delete key. Then we drag this over to the trigger node of this thing, so this way we'll actually fire off this command. And after that, we will want to then connect this one, where if it is actually on, we want to turn off the device. Now we can just click the align button to align it a little bit better to make it look easier for us to digest. And there we go. So now we have properly connected these nodes, and it should provide us with a different response based on whether or not this light is on or off. Let's go ahead and try it. There we go. So now the response is something like, oh, it's already off, which is it's already set. Now let's turn the light back on. Now the light's back on because we just went over there and did try it. And we can now expect this graph to go through this route where it actually turns off the light and then provides you with a response like something like got it okay. And there we go. It flowed through the other path and turned off the light successfully and also gave us a response for that. For this next part, we're going to turn on the light and have it be either red or blue depending on the color of the day. Red for later in the day and blue for, well, earlier in the day. We're going to need to copy and paste the second provided JSON, and we're going to go into raw, Control A, delete, and then paste it in and click add. So now we have all this new stuff, and we're going to need to wire it up. To wire it up properly, let's go ahead and delete the connection node for the success and move it towards the end of the graph. And there will be 2 situations where this will be successful. One is either it does not change the second variable, the color temperature, or it successfully changed the second variable, the color temperature. And we're going to want to fire this off by connecting this from after it turns on the switch to the color control node. And what's going on here is that there are actually 2 variables that need to be changed in order to change the light to either red or blue in this specific situation. So we first have the color control, which controls the hue and saturation. And then in order to change it to red, we would have to change the color temperature after that with this node over here. And that is done after we check the current date time and then we check the current hour. So let's go ahead and try it and see what happens. The light turned on and it is indeed blue. Now if we look at this one, we can see that it returned false. So what that means is that according to this, it is not past 8 p.m., which this here is a constant for the hour. So let's go ahead and just switch this over to less than or equal to instead of greater than or equal to, just for the sake of demonstration. And just like that, we can see that it turned the light red instead of blue. We're going to go ahead and switch that back over to greater than or equal to just to, because the previous thing was just for example purposes only. And there we go. Very cool. So this code lab has demonstrated that Bixby Home Studio, it is quite easy to start manipulating your smart devices within this development ecosystem. And with some copying and pasting and, just connecting a few dots here, we can actually have it even set the light color based on the time of day. So hopefully you got a good introduction to Bixby Home Studio. If you have any questions, do let us know. And yeah, that's it.